Well, welcome on board this tutorial for the A330. Today we're flying this A300-300, so the A333 RAF variant. Call sign is Ascot today because it's mostly passengers. We're at Oslo. We just started the pre-checks on the aircraft itself. And now we're going to go through the actual checklist and to get it operational. So engine 1, master 2 is off. Initial selector is in the normal position. Landing gear is down, check get down. Battery 1 and 2 are on. We'll go upstairs, we can see that. So battery 1 and 2 are on, so they're both on, and the APU battery is also on. External power is on. APU fire guard is down, which it is, and now we can test the APU. Test complete. APU master to on. Well, we're not going to do that just yet because we're on ground power. We're going to save a bit of fuel, and we'll put the APU on just before pushback and get that running. So we'll go back through that checklist now. Cabin set overhead console is correct. Okay. Our parking brakes are on. Yes, our parking brakes are on. Now I'm using GSX on my arrival airport, not my destination, because it doesn't load the aircraft properly, but it does when you've turned up at an airport. So I suggest on your departing airport you use the load through the Airbus itself. Hydraulic yellow pump is on. All hydraulic pumps are on actually. Flaps are up. Yes, flaps are up. Flaps are up and retracted. Ground spoilers are retracted and disarmed. Yes, they are. Probe and window heat is in auto. Probe and window heat is in auto. Cross bleeds are in auto. If you look at the fuel, the cross bleeds are in auto. Air pack 1 and 2 are on. Well, because we're not running the APU just yet. Okay, so the packs, we've got ground power on, but the packs are in auto and standby. That's why we've got the orange light. Temperature selectors, okay, they're all correct. We have a medium. So now it's time to check the electrical panel. So to do this, we will take this button at the end. This puts the LED lights, and we're going to test all the lights. So we're testing to make sure we've got no P lamps out, the bulbs, which we haven't, and everything is correct. So we come down onto the MCU, to the FMGS, the pedestal, and everything is correct there. Let's put a bit of a lighting on the aircraft there. Leave the floodlighting off for now. Okay, so that is everything is correct with the electrical panel. And after this test, we also perform the glide slope test, which is this button here.
Glide slope. Pull up. Terrain. Pull up.
It's now time to tell the aircraft where it is. So select the desired system. Well, yes, we'll be having the FM 1 and 2. So we'll go through that in a minute. So we're going to put the ADIRS on so we can address the aircraft. Now ADIRS stands for Aircraft Addressing and Reporting System. So flick 1 to nav, wait for the battery light to go on. Number 2, battery light goes off, and number 3. So that is the ADIRS system on. Now we have to enter the position. Before we do that, while we're up on the upper control panel with a flow, emergency exit lights are armed. Landing elevation is in the auto position. Engine 1 and 2 guards are down, and now we will do the fire test on engine 1 and 2, and that is correct. Strobe lights are in auto position, as you can see here. I've already selected that, and our radio panels, frequency and nav panels are set, which they are. Our altimeter is set. I haven't got real good weather on today because I'm still learning how to handle the aircraft, but the weather is pretty fair anyway. ATC clearance we'll obtain in a minute, and it's time now to do the ADIRS positioning system. So before we do that, we're going to load and fuel the aircraft. So we're going to aircraft doors. We're going to open up our cargo doors. We'll see on the display there the cargo doors are opening, and then I'm going to return and get a load of fuel. Now you can either generate this through the configurator, for the fuel planner, sorry, or you can do what I've done and go on sim brief, and I've actually got it so that the aircraft is a good weight. So our passengers today, well, we're taking 240 Thai Marines back to Birmingham, ready for transfer to Brize Norton. Our cargo gives us 7 with weapons and baggage. And our fuel quantity today is 17,400 kilograms, so 17.4 tons. Oh, I thought I was in the PMG there, so 0.4. And we can now load the aircraft. Now with GSX, it doesn't really load correctly on your initial airport. I'll just get that on there. So I don't really do it through there. I'll keep that screen there on the load screen. We'll go to the FMGS and we'll set the FMS. So as we look there, we're still aligning the system. To do this, I go onto a quick menu, add to MCDU1. Let me just zoom out a little bit. I haven't got a chase plane or the easy dock, whatever it's called. Okay, so we want to go to our initialization page. It's not an init, it's a reference. So initialization reference. With Airbus, I've got a company route planned, or you could just put it from a to and put your route in. But I've downloaded one from SimBrief, like I was just saying. So today we are going from OSLO, which is ENGM, so Echo November Golf Mike, / to Birmingham, which is EGBB, or Echo Golf Bravo Bravo. Place that in here. We've already got a route downloaded, so the ATLAP, and we're going on the ATLAP 5 Alpha RNAV departures, no restrictions there, which is good. Down into Chase 3 Foxtrot for Birmingham. So we'll insert that. So our flight number, because we is RRR Romeo Romeo Romeo, which gives us a call sign of Ascot 278. Our cost index today is 80, and our flight cruise is 40,000 feet. I'll then go to initiate the IRS. I want to align on reference. Now our reference is the blue, and yes, this is correct, and if you can see, it's bang on anyway. So align on reference, yes please, and I'll confirm the alignment. So this now tells the aircraft exactly where I am. I'll go back onto this screen and press across. We're fueling the aircraft now. Just said we've got 17.4 tons of fuel. It's only 690 miles to Birmingham. If we click on the Z fuel weight, this is correct, and then we just put that into there like so. I'll then go to performance, flaps 2 departure gives us V speeds as follows, or flaps 1 departure will give us a higher V speed, but we're going off flaps 2, so there we are. Trim up is 4 degrees, flex to temp is 54 degrees, trans altitude 7,000, and thrust and acceleration 2,100. We'll leave this screen as is for now, and then we can go back to our cockpit, and the noisy GPU has kicked in. And we set the FCU, so the flight control unit, which is this. We've got no constraints, so we can go straight to 40,000 on our altitude. And I want manage speed, so one click on the speed, and I want nav setting on the heading and altitude set as per. Flight directors are on, landing system is off. Nav mode is set, clock is checked, so that's all good. Our ATC and TCAS at standby, which it is. However, we want to put our squawk in. I'd click that over to TRA, but this is still in standby, so just to let you know there. So that is now done. Anti-skid is on until pushback. Yes, we are correct. Anti-skid is on. Weather radar is off. Yes, weather radar is off. I have not got anything on, but I'm going to place the predicted wind shear now over to auto. Thrust levers are in idle, so I'll just take the thrust levers up and set them back. Now they're in idle. And the ignition selectors, as we know, are in normal. The DEERs are aligned. So now we're waiting for the DEERs to align, and we're loading up the aircraft. So we've got a realistic time for the DEERs to align, and it will do so. Just get a little bit of light there. So while that's doing, I'm going to go over to FMC 2. So that's in the custom view on this aircraft. I'd go to MCD2. Zoom out a little bit. I'm going to go to flight plan. I don't have to do anything, but I'll do for the arrival. So I'm going into arrival. Yes, I'll go Chase 3 Foxtrot. We are landing on ILS 33. The reason why I can program this in now is because I'm not flying VATS in. Yeah, so there's no reason for me to hold off on putting in the departure. Now normal and in real world, you wouldn't put the arrival in until you're confirmed by the approach radar. But I know I'm going via, and I've got some go via BHX1 or BHX2. Now we can look over onto the EFB. So if I just go to the EFB, zoom out a little bit, that's quite shy. I'm going to go to charts, and I'm going to bring up the chart for Birmingham. So Echo Golf Bravo Bravo, yes please. Click on the chart, and I want to go to the SID. So I'm going to Chase 3 Foxtrot SID. 2 seconds. Star, sorry, what am I on about? My apologies. Chase 3 Foxtrot, which is here. I'm going to close this down. I'm going to zoom into the SID. So as you can see, we're coming via Chase 3 Foxtrot, so we'll be coming down from Beghem. It says here on 3 Foxtrot, flight level 200 by Manchester, so that's a constraint. I'll be putting in 200 and below by Manchester because at Vega. At Chase, there's a minimum hold altitude at Chase of 5,000 feet, and we could go via BHX 406. So what will happen is then on the approach, we will basically come down through Chase, runway 33, so that is this runway, and what we'll do is we'll do a go round and back and land via Chase. So I'll be 5,000 at Chase, that's the minimum hold altitude. I want to be 200 and below at Manchester, so now we could go ahead and program the MCD2 with that information. So yes please, I want to be via Manchester, and we're going to insert that. They're going to go to the bottom of the flight plan. It's easier. As we can see there, 2,500 should be, so 200, so that needs to be 2,000, no higher, so I'm going to return there, let that settle down. That will change eventually. Then we're going to go back up. At Chase, there's BHX, so at Chase, what's going on? Don't know what's going on there, sorry. We'll go down the allotted routes, top of descent. So Beghem there, so Manchester, we want to be minus flight 200, yeah? Let's see if that goes in. Speaker straight there, we don't really need to worry about that, there's no speaker straight, so I'm going to put that in. And then Chase, I want to be there, I want to be at 5,000, yeah? And I want to be no faster than 200 knots. I'm going to put that in there also. We're going to go down, and we're going to remove this flight plan discontinuity. Oh. 2 seconds when it stops jumping around. Just get rid of that. Be careful you don't delete a section. So I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to insert. Yeah, so now we know the Chase BHX. Yeah, want to be 5,000, and that is going to set us up nicely. We can also look at the flight plan, so we can go back to the virtual cockpit. And we can look at the plan. And let's zoom into 200, and what we're going to do is I'm going to bring up the flight plan on my side, and we're going to step through the flight plan. So this is the flight plan down until I get to Beghem. Okay, so this is Beghem, so this is the start of the flight plan, as you can see there, and then we go from there to Manchester. That's where I put constraints in. Manchester down to Vega. And now this is where it gets interesting. I'm going to zoom back into 10, and at Vega, I'm just going to check my flight plan. Chase 3 Foxtrot, and there we see, there's the VOR, what we're talking about there. This is how we look at the plan. So we zoom in a little bit on that. As you see, we've got 2 arcs there, okay. So this is 3-3, so we'll come down this route, turn left, and we'll capture the glide slope and turn in there. So that is correct, that's what I wanted to achieve. So now I can put back on my performance. We'll go back to arc and set that side as we want. Okay. And that is correct. So this side you're going to be up 20, so you can see the view. Okay, so that is now correct as we want to do. So actually cargo fueling are finished, so the seatbelt size could go back on. Okay, so that was the step. So I can now get rid of that chart, and I'm now going to enter our departure airport, which is Oslo. I'm going to enter there. So we've got the Oslo on board. Yeah, so we've got the airport, so I don't need to worry about that. So go back to the charts, Oslo, get rid of that chart. And we are actually, so I don't need the airport, so I want the SID, and we are on the ATLAP 5 Alpha, which is this one. And we'll keep this SID on this chart for now. As you can see, the aircraft there is ready. And we can see we've got a heading there of 012 degrees. It's just some reference for me for the SID. Okay, and if I want to look at the clipboard, we've also got the airport, so the parking stands. So where are we? We're at 49, which it hasn't showed us. But if I click onto the airport, there we are. So we're taking off on runway 1 left, which is over here. So I'll have a look at the taxi now. So the taxi routes, we're going to be pushing back. We'll go up to Lima, and we'll taxi down to Whiskey, across Whiskey to her. It's got the concourse in the way, Whiskey to Romeo. And then we'll come back down November, so that's the taxi we're going to perform there. So I'll keep that on that chart for now, okay? So that is all good. Okay, so gears are aligned. Okay, so now we've got our before start checklists. So doors closed, stairway dismissed, seatbelts are on, no smoker sounds are on, beacon and auto. But we're still waiting to be loaded, and then we'll whack the APU on. As we can see there, we'll just go in, so you can see what I'm doing. Yes, we've got only 157 passengers on board. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the aircraft door, cargo doors anyway, because that's all loaded. So aircraft doors, we're going to close the cargo doors. Let's get rid of them and return to load of fuel. So fuel was fully loaded there, 17.4. Cargo was fully loaded at 7, and we're just waiting for the passengers to come on board. While we're doing that, we could do some other checks. So, just having a look around, work out our taxi route. Like I said, we're going to push back, so we're going to face right, go up to Lima, take a left on Lima, all the way up to Popper. We're going to follow Popper all the way across to November, come down November, and go to Alpha 1, hold short of Alpha 1, do our pre-start, pre-takeoff checklist, and take off on our SID, which is Alpha 1. So to go to our SID, all I do is go back to that chart and it's already there, so it's pretty good like that. Okay, so that's what we're doing. That'll be the plan and that will be the route. So just zoom out a little bit, so I want to see Popper. Yes, that's perfect there, so that's what we'll do. Okay. So I think now we could think about starting up the APU when we get over the half passenger board, which we have. So everything is ready for the APU to start. I've done the fire checks. Let's go ahead and bring the APU master on. And let's start up the APU. There we are. As you can see, the flaps open, allowing air into the aircraft and the APU. The EGT, which is engine cross temperature, and you've got the nitrogen, which is the front turbine fan. There's only one on the APU, and it's coming up to speed now when that's available. We'll have the availability percentage, volts and frequency, which is the speed, and we'll be able to put the APU bleed on and get some more air to the passengers, get rid of ground power. So as you can hear there now, the APU is running, external power is gone. So now the external power is gone, I'm going to let ground personnel know I'm ready to start the aircraft by just placing my beacon light on. Our beacon light will go on. Normally I'd use GSX when I get arrived to the airport. So here's my sheet. The good thing about the A330, brings it up nice and clear so you can see it. Our load sheet then we're checking 154,490 fuel weight, which is correct. Gives me a takeoff weight of 171, landing weight of 162, so it'd be a full flaps landing. Cargo is 7, TTL is 240, okay. Trim 4.0, passenger weight is 8040. That's the end of the report, so that is good. I had to get rid of that, just right click. Okay, so now that is done, we could go ahead and shut the doors, so aircraft doors. We're going to close the entry and get ready for pushback. AS pushback or GS, so I'll go to AS. GSX for some reason jams the rudder over. I haven't tried it yet when I'm doing a turnaround, so I'll let you know how that goes on. So doors are away, stairways dismissed, and seatbelt signs fully to on. Tow truck called, yes please, and let's remove the anti-skid option now. Anti-skid can go off. Fuel engine start, so for that I'm going to need to push back, so let's go ahead and request our pushback. Yes please, can you start my pushback?
Flight deck to ground.
Go ahead, sir.
Ground, we have ATC clearance for push and start. Please confirm ground equipment and services are clear.
Roger. The ground equipment and stairs are clear, all doors are closed. Steering pin is in position and we're ready when you are, Captain.
Start pushback.
Roger, sir. Please release your parking brakes.
Parking brakes released.
Start and push back. You can start both engines at your discretion, Captain.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to start pushback main clock on block time. What we're going to do is bring on the fuel pumps. Fuel pump 1, 2, left and right and the standby, and right 1 and 2 and the standby. Everything is ready now for engine start. Now we just have to clear the terminal Oslo, and then we can carry on and start engines up, which we will do. Just turn in now. Right is clear, left is clear, and let's go ahead and start number 1. Start number 2, then 1. Start number 2.
Starting engine 2.
And let's start the stopwatch. Now we'll just go through the starting sequence. Must be the sun glare there on the. Where's that coming from? We've got the shades. It's coming from my side. So block that out. Is that better? And let's block it out your side if we can. Okay, so engine 2 starting up. I'm just going to go through the start procedure now. With the Airbus, it'll tell us if we got a good number 1 start, and then we'll start.
Engine 2 is stabilized.
Okay, starting number 1.
Starting number 1.
Engine 1 is stabilised.
Okay, engine 1 is stabilised.
And pushback is complete, Captain. Please set your parking brakes.
Parking brakes are set. Anti-skid back on.
Roger.
Ignition to normal.
Okay then, Captain. Tow bar disconnected. Your no steering pin is removed. All clear signal on the right. Have a good run, sir.
Thank you. And we'll put that to 4. No, keep that on 20 for now. Keep mine on 10. You'll have terrain on takeoff. I'll have weather. Okay, so let's go through. So ignition selector is to normal. APU bleed can come off. Air packs 1 and 2 are on now. So we're fully in and no lights. Ground spoilers. So we'll arm the ground spoilers. And let's arm ground spoilers. Ground spoilers are armed. Auto brake to maximum. Auto brake is now set to maximum. Rudder trim is 0. Pitch trim check. Rudder trim is set to 0. Pitch trim is at 4. As per the configuration checklist that we have printed off. Flaps are off for now. APU master to off. APU master off. And now we do a flight control check. So we're going to select the flight control sheet here. Oh, that's fuel, so I do apologise. So flight controls. So we're checking our rudder trim, which is 0. Yeah. And also what we're going to do check here is our trim. It marries the hardware trim, which it does at 4. Okay. Now we're going to do a full flight control check. I have auto rudder because I've got no pedals, so that is checked. So we're going to go full left. And neutral. Full right. And neutral. We'll go full up. And neutral. And we're going to go down soft stop. And hard stop. And neutral. Which is correct. Now you'd normally check your rudder, but we don't need to do that. So we're auto rudder. So we take that off now. Flight control. System, we could do takeoff config test in a minute. So anti-ice is on auto. Taxi clearance is obtained. And we've got the taxi briefing. Altimeter is set. Okay, so we want now flaps to takeoff flaps, which is 2. Flaps set to 2 and takeoff config confirmed. Hold on, so we're off flaps 1. So let's go back 1. Did I go flaps 1 or takeoff? Let's go back to takeoff config. Cabin check, flaps takeoff, flaps takeoff. Let me just double check here. So, edge starts are hard. Flaps 2, sorry, so flaps 2. Okay. I know why. Those lights to taxi. Our runway turn off lights to on. And everything else is correct and ready to go. So, we're now ready for I was going to do the takeoff config, and now takeoff config is correct. And now takeoff config is normal. And now we're starting the engines. We're going to place TCAS to standby. And we're going to taxi, as I said. So we're going to go out through Lima. We're going to go out through Lima, turn left on Lima down to Papa, and we're going to follow Papa all the way down to the end, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th turning. Then we're going to go left again on November, and then we'll recheck the chart down. But we're going to take November all the way down, so let's go ahead and form our taxi. Now the A330 on its taxi does in fact go at some speed, so you have to keep tapping the brakes, which is what I don't like. So here we go, brakes are off, and already the aircraft wants to move. I'll bring it on the taxi line. Keep an eye on your ground speed here. When you get up, I say to about 15 knots, tap the brakes down. Remember, turns under 10 knots anyway, regardless. Okay, so when I'm taxiing, I'll just zoom out to the maximum cockpit. It's just easier. I know the ground speed. So during taxi, we're checking our brake temperature, and we're checking everything else is good. Okay, so enjoy the taxi, and I'll get back to you when I'm performing any checks. as that's the Airbus's own taxi brief, so we're going past Juliet, which is correct, and we're going to be turning, we're going to go past Whiskey and turn down Papa, so that's where we are sat at the minute. Just keeping the speed down there. Okay, we're coming up now to Sierra and Popper. So this is where we're turning down to now, Popper. Okay, so as discussed in the briefing, we're coming down to the November intersect, so we're going to slow the aircraft right down to under 10 knots, take a left and go down to the whole short. So just gently pressing on the brakes, because the A330 she keeps going. So there you go, I've come down below 10 and now we'll start making the left turn when I'm ready. Okay, we're going to go and do the before takeoff checklist to the line. So for that we're going to go ahead and place our runway turn off light, taxi lights to turn off. Everything else is set. And we've got our TCAS on, so that's checked. Takeoff clearance is obtained, and our weather radar will place odds. So first officer will have terrain on his, so he can have terrain on now, and I'll have weather. Take off before the line is completed. As you can see, we're coming down to the Alpha 2, but we're going to carry on and go to Alpha 1, hold short, bring up the SID and do the departure. Okay, so we're just doing our final before takeoff checklists. Okay, so before takeoff checklist, our brakes will be released and we're going to flex temp. So I have weather radar on. We'll bring up the SID now on my side, so back to the charts, which is here, and we're going to take a 0-12 degree bearing to the radial of GM 437348 up to 437-438 on a radial of 308 to GM 445, and there's no restrictions, so we're climbing all the way up to our final start of the SID, which will be Evtog, and then from there is our normal routing back to Birmingham. A330, so we are ready to go, fully ready. Radios are set, radar is set, terrain on your side is set. Just alter the brightness. Our altitude is set, normally be initial, but there's no restrictions, that's 40,000 is set. Q&H is a set standard. 1013 auto throttles are now activated. Runway turn off lights are on, strobes and seat belts are normal. And now we'll place the ready to go. Now ready to go then on the departure. But now we've got takeoff clearance, let's roll, man flex SRS, and let's go. Brakes released. We'll line up with the runway. I'll come off centre line so I get the best lineup available. Please enjoy the takeoff. Okay, briefing as planned. The Atlas 5 Alpha departure.
Approaching 0-1 left.
Correct. Clear left, no incoming, clear right, and let's line up for the runway, please. And also throttles are armed.
On runway 0-1 left.
Thrust levers set to runway. Set runway. and Manflex SRS. Thrust set 54. Speed alive. .80 knots. Flight director seen. V1. Rotate. On climb. Positive brake gear up. (1,500) flaps 1, speed check. Lever climb selected. Speed check flaps up. Speed check 250. Had a bug there on my speed. Just go there. Q and H, let's go standard. Okay, so speed's now dropping down. Oh, ground spoilers, let's disarm ground spoilers. Okay, so that is the, we're just now climbing on the SID. Landing lights, take off, lights, take off. Don't forget, normally you'd have a first officer helping you at this point. Sometimes you get a little bit behind the curve. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the takeoff so far. climb to our initial cruise and cabin temperature is good. I'll take the passenger signs off as in real world when the aircraft is stable and we've finished any high altitude constraints, and also when the SID's almost complete. Switch to turbulence my side. Goodbye Norway. You can see the aircraft on the SID. Oh, for some reason we can't see the aircraft on the SID. Never mind. Okay, let's go over to autopilot then, finish off the SID. Autopilot 1 activated. Guess all we're doing now is climbing to our cruising altitude of 40,000 feet. Not a lot to do in cruise. The only thing to do is check your cabin temperatures, which you could do on your display. So cabin temperatures check. If you think it's too cold, you could alter them on the overhead panel. And also when you get to about over 24,000 now on the Airbus, I always put on the probe heat into run all the time. And then we'll go through the descent checklist and the approach check and the approach tutorial. So for now, 40,000 feet, we're travelling around 2,000 feet per minute, so it's going to take us a little while. I'll get back to you before the descent checklists. Hope you enjoyed the airport taxi and takeoff so far. So now leveling up, there's not a lot to do except for enjoy the flight back to the UK.